How about a Francis Ngannou?
Oh, John, no way.
Well, see, okay, hold on, and this is the whole point. He's got a better chance of beating Francis Ngannou than he does of Anthony Joshua, because Francis gives more openings.
All right, guys. Hey, we got about 10 more minutes. We're going to talk about Jake Paul defeating Julio César Chávez Jr. And it just basically was a payday. I mean,
my God.
I didn't get to watch the whole fight. I watched
Unfortunately, I did.
Yes, of course you did. John's at home like a nerd with 7 TV monitors up.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
My wife looked at me. She goes, "Look at you. You got 3 things going. What is wrong with you?" That's what I got to do.
Well, I do the phone, I do my iPad, and then like it really depends on my kids in the background with their phone, whatever they're doing. I'm like, hey, can you tell me what's going on? So trying to drive to locations, carrying lacrosse gear, doing all this stuff. So, John, what was your take from the fight? I thought it just seemed like a payday.
First off, Julio César Chávez Jr. No disrespect, but no one goes out and fucking backs off for 3 full rounds and is trying to win the fight.
No.
Okay. I'm not saying he didn't have, some kind of game plan, but it's a bad game plan. Okay. You've got to throw punches. He didn't throw punches for most of the fight. It was really, at times when he did, there was a couple times he connected. There was a couple shots he actually connected. There were good shots.
Yeah.
But, Jake Paul, what did Jake Paul do, to win the fight? He jabbed. Okay. Because that's all he had to do. It was the equivalent of a sparring match, in my opinion. And at least I'll give Holly Holm. She went out there, she put on a fight. It was for 10 rounds she went out and she, a lot of punches, and that's what you're supposed to do.
Did you expect anything different from Holly Holm?
No, I didn't expect anything different. I didn't know if she'd be successful or not. I was hoping she would, but you take a look. She did what she's supposed to do. She's not there just for the payday. She wants more. Chavez Jr. in this, like he's getting paid. He's like, oh, dude, I can spar with anyone for 10 rounds to get that kind of money. I don't need to win, and I don't think he was trying to win. And this is the kind of thing that when Jake Paul looks, he's going to sit there and I beat Mike Tyson. I beat who's Julio César Chavez Jr. No, you beat the shells of those people. You beat something that is not that person, and because at this point in their careers, they just can't fight, like they used to.
How does the apple fall so far away from the tree? That's what I want to know. How does somebody like him with a father like he had, how do you not
still has?
Yeah, he still has. How do you not strive to be good in respect to your father and your father's name?
Well, that's the whole thing. And I look at his father and I see his father. I don't want to say chastising, but telling him, going after him, and you think, dude, I can't let that man down, but he does. He doesn't care. I think it just, to me, it's like, hey, you know what? I had my career. Now it's a matter of let me just put money in the bank so I can live my life, and okay, but does this do anything for Jake Paul? In my opinion, no. I guess the Mike Tyson one. Did something, because it's Mike Tyson and there's always that name and what people remember. But, this one right here, he's talking about fighting Anthony Joshua. And I'll tell you what, that will be his fucking nightmare. If he ever fucking ends up doing that, because he's years away from fighting Anthony Joshua, a real heavyweight in a real heavyweight size. No, the one thing that I think's been exposed here is, Jake Paul can punch, but it's nothing special. He knocks people out when they get tired and stuff. Okay. But it's not like, oh, he's a knockout artist. No, he's not.
I mean, look, I'm going to give him some credit. He's a fine boxer. He's learning the game. He really, truly does train hard. You can tell it shows in his performances. I'm not going to knock him. I was calling him and his brother the poodle hair pony boys for a while. But Jake is putting in the work. He's really trying to get better at boxing. He's handpicking his opponents, which, if I got to be honest,
if you can,
when you have the availability to do that, go right ahead and do it. I get it. But now, like you remember, he lost to
Tommy Fury.
Tommy Fury. He wants that fight back. Tommy's like, nah, you could just sit on it for the rest of your life.
Smart man.
I can respect that.
Fuck yes.
I can respect that. But where does Jake Paul go from here? Because I saw, like you said, I saw the Anthony Joshua conversation. I saw he wants Canelo. He wants to fight guys, but where does he go from here? Who in there? Like who can he fight?
See, I think the problem is he's in that position where, look, Josh, I think he is a good boxer, and I've said that multiple times. And like I said, I've known people that have trained with him, and they told me, hey, no, he's pretty good. He hits pretty good. He's got some skill. He's obviously he's got a lot to work on, but he's not bad. And so you look and you go, okay, well he's built himself into this matinee boxer with all these influencers and everybody getting involved. But you look and you go, he can only fight the people he's fighting. Mm-hmm. Right now. Who does he, the whole Anthony Joshua thing. Tell me what would happen in that. I mean,
first off, he's not going to fight someone that's way bigger than him like that.
No,
he just won't do it.
And I'm being honest when I say if he was going to fight someone that you want to sit there and try to build your name up and people would kind of give it some credit and you do have a chance. How about a Francis Ngannou?
Oh, John, no way.
Well, see, okay, hold on, and this is the whole point. He's got a better chance of beating Francis Ngannou than he does of Anthony Joshua, because Francis gives more openings than Anthony Joshua.
I'm gonna do one a little bit different. I'm gonna say Deontay Wilder, because Deontay Wilder is a smaller heavyweight. He's 225, 228.
Oh yeah, he's smaller in weight, but he's 6'7" in size.
I get it, but I'm saying like in physical weight, I think that would be a more comparable, I guess, fight for me to say that you. Plus Wilder, he's not been the same since his fights with Tyson Fury.
True.
He just had, even though he's just coming off of a great knockout last weekend, so he just had a great performance, I guess, last week. And I saw a highlight of him crushing somebody like a can. But I mean, they're both coming off a win, basically back-to-back weekends or whatever it is. I mean, that's a fight to be had. You could possibly put, if you wanted to give yourself some real credibility in the boxing world, that's something about.
I agree with you that Deontay's in that position where he's not the same guy, but he can still crack.
Absolutely.
And I know Francis can crack too, but that right hand of Deontay, you better be careful.
Yeah, absolutely. But speaking of boxing, I want to give a quick shout out to our boy John Anik. He'll be doing the commentary along with Max Kellerman side by side for the Canelo and Bud Crawford. John, we've had Anik on our show, and we've done his show as well with Kenny Florian, the John Anik and Kenny Florian podcast. I've got to be honest, great podcast. But I'm excited for him to get this opportunity to do something outside of the UFC and still be kind of linked to the UFC. This is a huge fight, and I'm glad because he's probably, to be honest, one of the best, if not the best in the business, and just right now is on point. And I think he's a nerd to the game. I love John Anik. I love listening to him call fights. Great opportunity for him. I'm happy for him. Just want to say that real quick.
Oh, exactly. I said, when I saw it, I sent him a text and I said, hey, just want to tell you they couldn't have gotten anyone better. Congratulations. You deserve that. Go kill it. Right. And he sends me back and think, man, you don't know how truly much this means to me. And stuff. And I'm like, hey, I really think that they did the right thing. I think, Dana, obviously if Dana wasn't part of it, John wouldn't have had a chance as far as not the ability, but he's under contract to the UFC. So he wouldn't even have the chance of, doing it. And because of, Dana being part of it. Yeah. Dana goes, yeah, we'll use John Anik. So I think it's a great thing for him. I think he's going to absolutely kill it. I think he's going to be fantastic at it. So good for him. Congratulations, John. You deserve it.
This episode is brought to you by BetUS. Make sure you guys YouTube 150 for the promo code. Also, Element, use the link in the descriptions down below. Any product you buy from there, they will send you a bonus package of product if you use our link down below. Element's amazing, man. I love it. And I want to say thank you, man. Thank you guys so much for continuing to support us.